All right, today on the farm's kind of a fun one, folks. We're taking our arms up at targets. And I'm looking at a bulldog target with a plus feature in it, a 15 by 48 by 24 target that I finally decided to spend the money and invest in. I've had enough. We keep buying morel targets, which hold up about the best of what I've seen. I buy foam targets. It doesn't really matter. Basically, with 5 shooters in the family, they seem to be destroyed within months. So I bought one of these babies. They're made for a range. They're called the Wiener Dog style. And I wanted to see what the first 75 shots on it would look like. So I started letting the kiddos take whacks at it first. One of the things these things claim is that you can pull arrows out pretty easily with just a couple fingers. Another thing that they claim is that for $100 you can put another cover on it. And they even make a set of these that's smaller, folks, that has got like a limited lifetime warranty or something on it. But again, I wanted something that was really durable on the farm that, can really take a beating between probably 10 yards and 50 yards constantly throughout the year and not have to be changing out, literally the foam, so to speak. I thought about even building my own and making it work, but, even doing that has got some, expense to it. And if you screw it up, you're gonna wreck some fletchings and stuff. So I thought, what the heck? It's finally time to buy this. So I picked mine up for about $400, and I thought, gosh, that's a lot. But when I started adding it up, well, I bought a foam target for these girls in December, already wrecked. I bought one in July. That one's already wrecked. I bought a couple high-end bags the previous January. Both of those are wrecked. When I added that up, I realized I already had spent $360. So what the heck? I'm going to try. So again, my daughters here are taking whacks at it. There's different ages. I've got shooters all the way from 12 years all the way up to 16 years on this thing. Old, that is. And, the difference between a 12-year-old shooter and a 16-year-old shooter is a big difference. So try not to pick on them too much. But really, you can see what they're dealing with. This is my, on the left-hand side of the screen, my 15-year-old, and she's actually struggling just a tad to get those out. Believe it or not, my 12-year-old there, Julia, she's just yanking those things pretty good, except for the last one. The last one kind of bites in for her and gives her a little trouble. But I think what's happening there is it's just got to do with their tips, and they're grabbing that last piece of fabric. And as that fabric wears in, I think it's going to go pretty easy. So I'm going to pull my 16-year-old's arrows out here. As you can see, she's driving a nice hard group. And I'm just kind of getting a feel of how much I can pull on it and how much I can't. I'm trying to be somewhat gentle, and I find these things extremely easy to come out compared to some targets I've had. Now, I don't know how it's going to be with other things, but I'm trying to not like crank on it. But I am getting caught a little bit at the end too there, just again with the fabric. But overall, so far, I'm pretty pleased. So what's the next big test? Well, after you let these guys shoot at it for a bit, and we're getting up there in arrow count. I think there's been 72 shots on the target. I thought, well, you know what? I need to do some flinch testing anyways and see how I do. So I'm going to take the paper off because that's one of the best ways for me to do flinch work. I'm just going to shoot at it. I'm not going to worry about what I'm hitting. I'm just going to kind of focus on my technique. I'm going to take one of the crossbows at it. This is 15 inches, and according to the Bulldog folks, the 12 inches may or may not stop some of the higher end crossbows. They'll certainly stop the lower end crossbows, but they recommend for like public ranges and archery, targeting centers and archery ranges to use the 15 inch if you're going to let them shoot crossbows. So I'm moving this crossbow up to about 25 yards, and I'm going to take this, 400 feet per second crossbow. This has the Mission Sub 1 XR, and I'm going to pound that into this thing once and see if I wreck an arrow or two. I got a pretty good backstop here in this barn, so hopefully it'll stop it, is my thought. As far as the style of these, they've got a 4 foot by 4 foot. This is, I think, the 4 foot. Like I said, that's like 24 inches tall, so it stands kind of tall. I like that for the younger shooters because then, it stands up high enough where they can hit it. We don't have to balance a foam block, and we're not teaching them to kind of shoot at a downward angle all the time. Obviously, if money wasn't an issue, I would have got the bigger one than this. But again, I can only spend so much, especially on a dad's budget. And, I've got arrows to repair and, bows to keep up and stuff like that. Plus, I'm helping 4-H'ers and everything else. So, this is what I got. And like I said, I've had some foam blocks where, boy, we've shot 75 arrows on it, and we're starting to carve out foam, and we're in trouble. I've had some bags that after 75 shots, I can't even tell where the bullseye center is. These are nice because you can add your own targets to them. They do come with target patterns on them also too, but I like that you can add your own target to it. That to me is great because you just change it out and have a fresh target to shoot at. So this is really what I wanted, and so far I'm very pleased. So here I am, got the mission. Again, I don't really have anything to shoot at. I'm just thinking of myself and what my flinch is like, and I'm driving that arrow in. That bolt there is sticking out, I think, about maybe 4 inches. That's 25 yards. I think this thing's, when I clocked it, running around 400 feet per second. And we're shooting the standard mission arrows that Matthews makes. That's fantastic. Now hopefully it hasn't gone through the back. I'll show you that in a second. But this is really nice to see. Now typically with this setup at 25 yards, if I was to go shoot a couple of the crossbow targets, not necessarily Morels, but other ones on the market, I've got a big black high density foam one with a big kind of cube center to it. If I shoot 25 yards with this crossbow at that, it will stop them too. Do not get me wrong. But boy, those G-series type targets like that, they are such a pain to get your arrows out. I'm down there with a bolt puller, putting my foot up or my knee up, bracing against the target, and yanking them things back out. So after I get done putting a bunch of these down range, I'll be really curious to see how much I struggle to get these out. The Bulldog company makes this kind of in 2 different styles. They make this in a standard, and then they make it in a plus. And whatever they're putting and however they're putting the plus together inside is supposed to allow you to be able to pull your arrows and your bolts out a lot easier. And that's fantastic. I mean, that's just what I want. As an older archer at this point, who likes going and cranking on your shoulder after you're pulling your bow to yank out your arrows. As I enjoy crossbow, kind of that combination between the rifle and the bow, again, it's fun to do, but you don't want to go down there and work your butt off to get them out. The other thing is when you start bringing in young shooters, like I bring in my son, he's turning 8 soon, and I bring in my 12-year-old daughter, those guys have much more difficulty with pulling those arrows out straight. And I've been known to lose an insert, crack an arrow, or even slide off and wreck a vein. And I think that's because they're pulling too hard, trying to get these things out. So it's really nice to see my 12-year-old be able to get these out. I know she struggled a little bit at the end, but she's getting them out. You'll also notice that while I was doing this test, I just recently put out a video where I let my daughter shoot a couple crossbows because she enjoys them. And when she shoots the crossbow, she has to use some form of cocking device just because of her age and her strength and power. So it was on the Matthews right now because Matthews has, Mission, which is made by Matthews, has their cocking device removable. So it was already on here. So I thought, you know what? I kind of want to shoot with it. Between you and me, folks, I got enough power left in me. I typically don't use a cocking device. And when I do, the nicest cocking device that I've enjoyed are the built-in ones, and particularly built-in on the Raven side. They're more of a ribbon, they're easy to throw forward and put on. The only downside to those ribbon ones that I've seen is they're noisy. This thing is very, very quiet, but it's a little bit cumbersome. You can see there I'm getting used to it. This is literally only like the 3rd time I've shot with it. I'm getting better at using it. I'm getting better at figuring out how to get it down, onto the string on both sides, and then crank it up, and then get it off, and so forth. But again, it's for a later time in my life, but I still wanted to try it. So if you're wondering why I'm a little, awkward with it, I'm just getting used to it. I'm also getting used to shooting it with that on and seeing if it gets in my way. And no, it did not. It isn't real practical in size the way it looks there. And again, I'll praise Mission for letting me take it off, because if that was on there all the time, I don't know if I'd be as happy with it. But regardless, it's there for those who need it, and certainly with my daughter, she's going to need that. So here it is. This is 3 shots down there, driven at 25 yards, 400 feet per second, by I would say a fairly high-end crossbow. So now as I'm going to go down there, I'm going to see if I can get these things out, make sure they haven't gone through the other side, and basically get a feel for it. So normally I would have to use a bolt puller. Look at that. That is fantastic. I am impressed. I'm going to try and do it here with just a couple fingers. Oh, love it. I sold. I mean, Bulldog, thank you. Now, the only test left that I can't show you in this video is how does this do after, literally 1,000 rounds in it. I don't know. But we're going to find out, because right now I am really happy. This is 75 rounds into this puppy at this point. I'm just showing you what it looks like here. Go around to the back side. Nothing through this 15 inches. Nothing. Love it. Love it. I'm very pleased. I can add my own paper targets to this. I can do 5 spots. I can do the single, large, big one for the kids for when they do their tournaments and shoots. Extremely pleased. I know this is an expensive target, but you know what? After what I've gone through, this is worth it. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like, subscribe, and support us on our channel. You guys have a great day.